Welcome to Fringe Fanatics with Chad Lee and Chris Zane.
And we are back. It is episode 20 of Fringe Fanatics. I am Chris Zane.
And I am Chad Lee. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you guys. Chad, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing good. This is episode 20.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty crazy.
Sacking up into double digits, man.
We are, man.
Yep.
Cruising right along.
I was good. My last weekend was pretty good. The Chiefs having the bye. It was kind of nice to have a little stress relieved. I got the dreads worked on, so
oh, nice.
Looking all fresh.
Where'd you go to get that done?
A place called Three Little Birds down. It's funny that came up earlier.
Oh,
today.
yeah, that is funny.
Yeah, it's called Three Little Birds, and it's mainly just meant for like dreads and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
gotcha.
Yeah, I can't work on them. I would fucking. It would look awful.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get that. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Me either. What about you?
My week was okay, just fucking working and shit. And then this weekend didn't do too much. Sunday went and had lunch with my parents for my B-day.
That's right. For you listeners out there, when we are recording this on Tuesday, it is Chris's 36th birthday.
36 years old.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's a milestone. It's a milestone.
I don't know if it's a milestone.
Hey, it's a birthday. Did you make it around the sun?
I did. I'm here.
It's worth celebrating.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's my birthday today, so I guess that's cool.
Yeah.
But it does suck. We have a crazy snowstorm coming in, and I'm going to have to go push snow tonight. So, hopefully we don't have, like, Snowmageddon.
Yeah.
They are calling for, like, 8 inches tonight and 8 inches tomorrow.
Quite a bit over the next 2 days, I believe. Yeah. So, hopefully you don't
We just got rid of some of that damn snow. Now it's
it hadn't
back
even
again.
fully melted yet.
No, your driveway is sketchy.
We have a glacier out there.
Yeah, you do. You really do.
Your house faces north in that eastern Colorado. That's just the way.
You're screwed.
Yeah,
You're going to have snow for a month.
Yeah, well, should we go ahead and hit this leadoff shot for your birthday? Happy birthday, sir.
To me. Why shouldn't it be about me?
Always working. Never get the pat on the back.
Damn it.
There you go.
And this is to you guys, too. It's also your birthday.
Fair enough. We'll take that.
Cheers.
Cheers. That was the last of the JMO cask mates.
It's casky and matey.
Yeah. Musty.
Woo!
Well, all right, so we got a lot to talk about today.
We do. There's a lot going on. A lot of NFL news and stuff.
A lot of sports, even fighting.
Jim Harbaugh's not going to be the coach of the Broncos.
Came out and said it. I'm glad we almost did an ELE on it, but I wanted him to stay at Michigan. I think it's more important for these college coaches to show some loyalty.
Why, dude? The players don't even do it now with the transfer
Doesn't matter,
portal.
man. That's how you get players in.
There is no loyalty.
That's how you get players in. Saban's been there a while.
That's true.
I'm watching Bill Self right now. He's been there forever.
Yeah, well, keep watching him.
Yep, I will. I'm going to try to pay attention. I'm a little distracted right now. We tried to put it on the TV. It didn't quite work. We had some technical difficulties, but
yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
We're going to get that upgraded.
Yeah, we need to upgrade.
I feel bad. Are you mad that you're not watching the KU game too? It's at halftime. So
no, I'm okay.
All right, I could put the phone somewhere else if you want.
No. I'm not worried about it till the Nuggets.
Yeah, that's right. Nuggets got a big one tonight.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Big one. And is Jokic playing?
I believe so. I mean, he played in the last game.
Oh, no, it's Malone that's sick or something.
Oh, what? I didn't know about
Malone's
that.
Malone's not going to be there. I just came out not too long ago.
Like someone else is going to sub in the coach?
Yeah, probably just the assistant coach.
Yeah, I know, of course, but
I don't think they really need much with Jokic there. Like, if Jokic wasn't there, I'd be like, oh, this could be.
No, that's a big one. I was so pleased and shocked when they beat the Clippers last Friday. That was
a nice game. Yeah. They've been kicking ass.
Man, they sure have been, but it's tough because we got the Grizzlies right behind us.
Yeah, but I think we do have that tiebreaker on them
We do.
now, so that's why we're still in first with the same record.
It's just funny. We've won 6 straight, I think, and then they've won 10 straight.
Yeah.
So
Nuggets got that 13th straight at home, though.
Yeah.
That was nice.
It's tough to play up here. I never really thought about it, but just, how when it comes to football, I mean, those guys get oxygen and stuff on the sidelines, but within basketball, like, they're running up and down the field or court and just getting winded. The home field advantage, it's cool how it's, like, such an advantage here.
It really is. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It used to be that way and for the Broncos, but not anymore.
Not so much right now.
The Broncos are winning themselves. Well, let's get into the wild and crazy, super extravaganza wild card weekend.
Super wild and crazy weekend. That's
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Let's get into it.
That's what we can call it, man. Yeah. It was unexpected. First off, we had Seattle at San Francisco that turned into a blowout.
It did. That first half, though, I was like, man, this could go wrong for San Francisco. And then that third quarter into the fourth, they just dominated.
They did. I was really thinking that, like, Purdy in that first half was just having some jitters.
You mean Big Cock Brock?
Yes,
Yeah.
Big Cock Brock.
Okay,
That guy. You love saying it. It's fucking awesome.
Well, let's talk about him, dude, because I did have some notes on him.
Let's talk about it.
Well, he went 18 out of 30 for 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 carries for 16 yards, and ran in a touchdown himself. Those 3 touchdowns through the air went to McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, and Deebo Samuel, who was a 74-yard touchdown, which was a really nice one.
Yep.
And then he had that QB sneak, which was, the guy's just doing it all right now. It's crazy.
I mean, they are just dominating from every phase of the game. You look at all the weapons they have. You even go down at the board to the low end of the depth chart with guys like Juwan Jennings.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say Greg Jennings for once.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, everybody. I mean, it's just you look across their whole team, and I mean, on the defensive side, it's scary. So, I mean, in the beginning, I was kind of worried, like, oh, maybe this is Purdy's, like, falling out game, but, came back, and, of course, Shanahan schemes up ways to just – you get those guys the ball. It's just crazy. I mean –
the way he gets people open, even there was that one pass to Ayuk where he came across the middle and Purdy dropped back. It was like his second read, and Ayuk is just wide open. I mean, there's nobody within 10 yards of him when he catches the ball. The safety had to drop down and obviously make the tackle, but it's crazy how good Shanahan is at calling plays.
Yeah, I mean, look at who he was going up against, too. Tariq Woolen, who made the Pro Bowl as a rookie and led the league in interceptions, tied, of course, with 6. And then you got a few other stars on that team, and it just didn't matter. I mean, they were carving them up in the second half, so they're going to be a tough team to beat. I'm honestly glad the Cowboys won last night.
They might be the only team that can beat them.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, when I see if the Niners win that game and have to go to Philly, it's going to be tough to win in Philly. But it's just that's what I love about playoff football, man.
I think Hurts is maybe more hurt than we're being led on to believe. He didn't look the same when he came back in that last game. So
yeah, it could be rust, but
Speaking of rust, let's talk about another thing.
Nice.
Purdy's 332 yards is second only by a rookie to Mr. Danger Rust himself.
Oh, really?
Russell Wilson. Yeah,
he's not so rusty anymore.
Yeah, no, not too bad.
He had a good game though, man. I mean, you look at guys like Deebo and stuff, like, and McCaffrey on that big catch that you talked about. I mean, the speed he hit. Oh, one thing that's pretty cool, I'm sure you saw it. When he hit that top speed, that was the fastest he's been since he was fully healthy, like 2 years ago. So
I think it's easy to be healthy when the team's good. I think there might have been a few years where he's like, this isn't worth it.
Yeah.
Ankle.
My hammy.
Ow.
Yeah,
a couple other things, though. He is the first rookie to account for 4 touchdowns in a playoff game, and he did just tie Herbert's record of 7 straight games with multi-touchdowns as a rookie. So,
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he is looking pretty damn good. It's crazy.
Do you think he'll be the starter next year?
I think you have to at least say he's the starter. If he takes them to the NFC Championship game, you have to make him the starter.
Yeah,
and
no
just
doubt.
say, "Hey, Lance, when you're healthy, it's between you guys."
I mean,
or you just run them both out there like Houston was doing.
That's what I think we talked about last week. Is I mean, they would be great. Cute, like fourth and
imagine that
inches. Trey Lance, a big dude that's strong. Put him in there instead of getting Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
because
he's not that big.
I think we're gonna see it, and then I think Garoppolo is gonna be a Raider.
I don't think so.
Where do you think he's going?
I think Garoppolo is going to go to New York. And I think, like I've been saying, Brady is going to Oakland. Well, Oakland, Jesus Christ.
After last night, do you really still believe that?
Dude,
percentage-wise.
We'll get to it.
Oh,
we'll get to it.
No. All right.
You're talking about a guy at 45 who broke his own season record for completions and also was ranked 3rd in passing.
A guy that also threw for 66 times last night and
broke his own record there too.
Showed, nothing for it.
That team just looked like garbage. They couldn't even run the ball. I thought Ryan Jensen coming back would be bigger. But let's finish this one up. We got a little more to go on this one. Then we got to talk about that one anyways.
We will.
I just think Seattle just gave them their best punch in that first half.
Yeah.
And all they had to do was survive that, and they did, and then it was just that was it.
It was
you
cool.
saw how pumped Seattle was going into halftime with the
Yeah.
lead. Like Metcalf was like, yeah! And it's like, dude, the game's not over yet. And clearly,
still another half.
They got their asses kicked in the second half.
Oh,
so.
they did. I mean, it was cool to see Geno come out and show that much good tape because I don't know if you saw his post-game comments where he said he owes Seattle and Pete Carroll so much so that he's willing to finish his career in Seattle. To me, that's without actually saying the words, I'll come back and be a second string if I need to.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what better guy to have there? I mean, he's been a second string all his career and showing that much good tape. I think it's going to help Seattle a lot.
That's true.
And they get a good draft pick next year.
I know. They got that number 5, and they've got their own, which
Yeah.
is in the 20s now.
Not bad.
But, yeah, they're looking pretty golden right now. Yeah. Geno Smith proved a lot of people wrong this year. I think you got to give him the nod over, say he's the starter next year just for all he's done.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to draft someone. I don't know, 5. I don't know. They're going to get somebody, but it's not going to be the top 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, and it won't. And I'm sure whoever they end up with will maybe sit 6 to 7, maybe longer games before Geno gets benched.
Well, they can run like this for a while because Kenneth Walker, I think, is going to be Rookie of the Year, possibly. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's up there.
I'd say so.
He's definitely in the running. So when you got a running game like that, I mean, that guy, I think he had logged the fastest run this year.
Did he really?
He was like 22 something.
Any running back or?
Out of everybody. It was
Wow.
the fastest recorded. He broke down the sideline.
Well, they're a lot better when he's healthy. They
Yeah,
gotta
for
use him.
sure.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next game, which was a barn burner. This one was super exciting.
This one we might have to spend just a little bit more time on because of how crazy it was.
I mean, you would think with how crazy it was, we would have got a little more reaction from Al Michaels, but
Dude, that guy is disinterested.
that is
it's
nuts,
hilarious.
isn't it? I mean, super
just-
fascinating. And he didn't give a fuck when he gave a response to people's reaction to his behavior.
Yeah, he just
He defended it and was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm getting paid millions by
Well, just think about it. He had every shitty game this year.
I think
and
that's
then,
what he's
And
mad
then
about.
he gets back to NBC and gets another shitty game for the first half. And then granted, it did turn into a crazy game, but
Yeah.
I get why he's a little bitter.
I
but he's still, I'm just cashing checks.
I think
dude.
that last Thursday night game, this was for some other comment that he gave, where he called those bad games that he had to do, like trying to be a used car salesman and making a commercial or something. He put it so well that this is fake. I can't get excited about this.
Come on, man. Look at who's playing right now. Look at the score. It's the Broncos. It's 9-6 in the third quarter
against the sorry ass Colts. Man, I do feel bad for him.
But this game was insane, man. It was the top 3. Is the third craziest comeback in playoff history. Behind January 3rd, 93, Buffalo, 32 points against Houston, and January 4th. Oh shit, I forgot to write the year. I think it was in the 2014. It was against the Chiefs.
Yeah, it was Andrew Luck, the fumble at the goal line, and it was
it was a good game. I think Chad's unhappy about it.
Don't
but
like talking about that game.
Anyways, they came back 28 points on Kansas City in that one.
Yep.
And it was all Los Angeles the first half, man. 27-7 at halftime.
I was scared, man. I mean, we picked it on the playoff bracket, and the way it was turning out, I'm like, they are going to beat the Chiefs because they are if they won that game, they were the ones going to play the Chiefs.
If they put a whole game together like that, dude, they can beat anybody. That was insane.
Isn't it fucking shocking right now? The news came out today that their offensive coordinator and the QB coach, the offensive coordinator
for Los Angeles,
Joe Lombardi got fired.
And then Shane Davis, I think, or Shane Day, QB coach.
Which typically means if the coordinators get fired, the head coach is still there.
Yeah, that's always what happens. Otherwise, it would have been first head coach.
Fuck.
I don't know, man. They must just see something in him, and maybe they're thinking.
I don't know what they
see.
see.
He's not in charge of the offense, though. That's the thing. He's a defensive coach.
But that should get him fired, too, because he gave up a 27-point lead.
Because they didn't run the ball at all, dude.
Yeah.
They just kept throwing it over and over and over again.
Well, the defense started just weakening it up, too, and Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Trevor Lawrence had 4 picks in that first half. I thought this is going to be a blowout.
Dude, I thought Asante Samuel Jr. was a Jaguar in the first half of the
I mean, he was throwing
picks.
right to him. I mean, the decisions that Trevor Lawrence was making. And hats off to Doug Peterson for going to Trevor Lawrence, calming him down. And the way he came out in the second half, it was, we got to mention, they didn't go into the half at 27.
In the beginning or the end of the second
right
quarter.
Before the half, which is huge.
They got that pass to Evan Ingram, and you're like, oh, they drove down the field. You're like, uh-oh.
And here it goes.
And then just, dude, it was so crazy. We all had Los Angeles pegged so wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody did. I mean, we too were saying they're probably going to win the West. And just to see a collapse like that was so insane. And you're right. It is nuts that Staley has his job
still. It's all points to coaching, because if you look at the talent they put out there, they have a lot of good tape on the field. And to me, it's sad how Staley is the one that screws them over, because here's a good example. So when they're trying to hold their lead in the second half, they run a 3rd and 1, and you probably don't even know who he is. His name was forget Maney or something like that.
I can't remember.
It's like their 4th-string wide receiver. I'm losing it right now. I'm sorry, but the thing of it is it was an end around, and typically that would be Mike Williams. But Mike Williams got hurt because Staley kept him in.
Someone left him in the game and got his back broken.
Yeah, and so that is a perfect example right now. If Williams is in there, then they probably just get that first down, and they probably put up 42, and it's 42-14. And
they had that 4th and 3 too, which you'd think he normally would go on, and they just kicked a field goal instead, and then Dicker missed it.
Yeah, that's huge.
That would have ended the game in effect, because I mean, it took all the time for the Jags to get to be able to kick that field goal.
Yeah.
So one thing that's crazy though. Trevor Lawrence is the 3rd quarterback to have 4 interceptions in the first half of a playoff game in the Super Bowl era. The only other one is Detroit's Gary Danielson and good old Denver's Craig Morton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good NFL trivia there.
There you go. And then another thing, 12 of his first 16 throws were incompletions.
Jeez. So he went 4 for 16.
Yeah. 12 for 16.
Yeah.
Or no.
My fractions are bad.
Yeah, you're right. 4 for 16.
That's fucking sad.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he came back in the second half, and that's why, we'll get into the preview here soon, but I'm not chalking this up to an easy win against them at all.
No, I last week I thought the coach of the year would be between Peterson and Dable. I still think Dable's going to take second now, because that comeback there just solidifies Peterson as the coach of the year. That was insane.
Yeah. I mean, everybody hadn't written him off. I mean, for some reason, at one point when it was like 27-7, I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'll switch, watch something else. And I was like, I'll just hang in there. And they just kept coming back. They just kept scoring. And the Chargers only scored 3 points in the second half. And it ended up being a great game.
And then the other thing that was crazy, too, they did have that 5th turnover when that punt literally bounced off, what was his name? Chris Claybrooks? Yeah, Chris Claybrooks off his helmet. Just bounced up in the air, and then, then Los Angeles recovered it.
It's fucking insane, the fact that they overcame all that. I mean, I like Doug Peterson a lot. I've said it before. So,
and the other thing too that I think that's great about Lawrence is the fact that he's always spreading the ball around. I feel like, I mean, Ingram had a touchdown, Zay Jones had a touchdown, Marvin Jones Jr. had a touchdown.
Yep.
Who else?
Well, ETN had a good game too.
Oh, Christian Kirk had a touchdown. Yeah, ETN did 20 carries, 109 yards.
Yeah.
So that's a really fucking effective game, especially in the playoffs. And I think that's what killed Los Angeles in the second half, is they started running the ball more and they were getting chunk yardage plays, and then Lawrence was just carving them up.
And see, that's just another reason why Staley needs to lose his job, because he has a defense that's built on stopping the pass and not worrying about the run. And it's killed him all year long.
And another thing too, Peterson called that 4th and 1 for that last drive with ETN and got the ball and got the first down, and that's what set up that field goal that won the game for him. So.
That was gutsy, man, because everybody expected him to run, and he did. But instead of it being right up the middle, he pitched it out to ETN. Yeah, it was just 1-on-1, and he beat his guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, Herbert still had a good game, man. 25 out of 43, 273 yards, but they just became so stagnant in the second half, and it was just so crazy.
They couldn't move the ball,
especially an offense like that. Like we said, we all talked about being one of the better ones in the NFL, and they just shit the bed, as they say.
Well, I believe next year they're going to be a lot better. I don't think they get swept by the Chiefs again. I mean, I hope so, but it's just the fact of the matter is I think a lot of their downfalls was due to Joe Lombardi. And then decision-making, big decisions, 4th and 2s, timeouts, Staley.
I feel like Staley had less than last year, but he still had a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, last year I was still surprised that they're like, we're going to roll with him again. She's like, all right, go for it.
Yeah, it was shocking, but it seems like he might have some dirt on the ownership.
He might have some pictures. Somebody's in trouble.
Skeletons in the closet.
All right, well, let's move on to a game that I don't think anybody saw coming out the way it was.
Not at all.
Especially considering what were they favored? 13.5 points before kickoff.
Yep.
And
it was they were up 17-0 at half. And the third string quarterback from Independence, Missouri,
Skylar Thompson
from K-State, end up coming through and playing really good in the second half.
He did play pretty damn well, and Allen, on the other hand, did not. I mean, his numbers look good. 23 out of 39, 352 yards, 3 touchdowns, but the 2 interceptions and that 1 fumble. I mean, there's not much you can do on that fumble. That guy ran free almost as soon as the ball was hiked.
Yeah.
And what was his name? I wrote it down somewhere.
That got the fumble or caused it?
Yeah, the one that... Oh, Seiler.
Okay.
Fuck, what's his name?
Yeah, I can't remember.
It is what it is. Seiler is his name. He got the sack. He had 2 sacks that game, and he had that forced fumble and the recovery for a touchdown. And after that, I mean, that pretty much that gave Miami all the momentum they needed. And from there, it was like, what's going on, Buffalo?
It's so crazy, man, because if you look at the opportunities given to the Miami offense, they should have won that game. I was just pulling my fucking dreads out watching that game, and we were texting about it. It's like, why isn't Mike McDaniel getting the play in? He was taking the whole time.
Did you hear
because he was vaping. Because he was vaping.
Was he really vaping?
Well, he had something in his hand, and he held it up to his mouth.
It could have been a pen, though, and it could have just been, I don't know. You know, people do weird
whatever.
shit. Either way, who gives a fuck if he was vaping? Good for him.
I'm just giving him shit.
No, but did you hear what he said about that, though? He said that his coaches upstairs told him they got the first down.
Yeah.
So they ran the first down play package out, and then by then it was too late. But I did hear again that they bumped the play clock back up at one point, and it ran back down again, and they still fucked up.
Huh.
So I don't know. He's basically saying he got bad information. I'm waiting to hear if he's fired or not. I still think it's a possibility that it happens.
Yeah, I said on the weekend I finally conceded to that because I was like, no way, he's not going to lose his job. But the way they handled that game, I mean, like I said, you take that defense where Miami was stopping the Bills,
played out of their mind.
You put the Jags offense in there instead. Yeah, they're going to win that game.
Yeah, probably by double digits.
Seriously,
yeah.
I mean, the opportunities that Miami was given. I mean, Josh Allen was kind of shut down.
It's weird, man, and he hasn't. And if you look at their schedule, the last half of their schedule was a lot of pushover teams that they should have blown out.
Yeah.
And I'm beginning to wonder if maybe that inflated them a little bit more to what we thought they were.
Well,
to what they actually are.
I always think of 2 years ago when the Steelers went like 11-0.
Oh, and then they lost the last.
Yeah, lost like 4 or 5 in a row. And it's because when you play that cake schedule, you don't really get a good look of how good you are. And then you step into the playoffs and play these really good teams. I mean, the third string quarterback, Miami, and then they almost beat them. I mean, it really came down.
Yeah, and that was that
close.
dude's third start.
Yep.
His first in the playoffs, obviously. He's only had 3 starts. Like you said, pretty decent. 18 out of 45, 220 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, though. He did everything he could to keep them in the game. It's Kyle Seiler is his name. But, yeah, the defense was the star for them, and it's just the offense did kind of falter a little bit as they did only manage 16 first downs and 231 yards. But, I mean, he kept them in the game. And at the end there, they had a chance to win it.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, it was just like the guys they were trying to run out there wasn't really getting the job done. Like Jalen Waddle, he had some big drops. You know, he kind of got banged up earlier. I think that might have had a lot to do with it. But
yeah.
I even saw some drops by Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, Tyreek only 7 receptions, 69 yards.
That's not his regular stat line.
That's not good.
Yeah, you need him to get 150 if you're going to win the game pretty easily.
But it is crazy. Miami did have a playoff record, 7 sacks on Josh Allen.
And I think that's something to really pay attention to as they go up against Sam Hubbard, who's apparently pretty damn fast.
Yeah.
And then
he tailed off there at the end, but at the end, man, he He was motivating, as they
the
say.
benefit of the doubt there for sure. Just, the Cincinnati D-line, I mean, I think they're going to have, I think the Bills are going to have their hands full trying to keep Josh Allen safe because he didn't look comfortable really at any point in that game.
No, he didn't. And that's a big problem for them. And the turnovers, too. We talked about that at the end of the season. Like, the turnovers are going to be what bites them in the ass. And again today, on Saturday, 3 turnovers. Like,
I mean, they're always able to still survive it somehow, but they have a really good defense. And the thing of it is like, it's not going to last.
It was on Sunday, too. God damn it.
Oh, did we say Saturday?
I just said Saturday.
Yeah,
I'm like, what, days, man.
Same thing
days.
on these playoff weekends.
What do they mean? Time? What's time?
What is time?
It's just a construct, man.
It's a relative.
It's made to enslave the mind. But yeah, that game, just the fact that it was 34-31 is insane.
Yeah.
I feel like we were pretty dead on everything this week. This game, or not this game, Los Angeles and Jacksonville, we said Jacksonville could win this game.
Yeah.
But I just think the Chargers are a better team, and clearly they proved that they weren't.
And this is a game where Buffalo was playing at home. I mean, Cincinnati, this is awesome because this is the game that we didn't get. So here coming up, I mean, they're going to have
That is true. I didn't even think about that until just now. It's the rematch of the game that never happened.
It's great because we finally get to see the outcome and with even more stakes at hand.
I bet you Hamlin's there.
He should be. That'd be cool.
He didn't go to the game. I saw he was watching it from home, but I did see he visited the facility on Friday or something and was with the team and shit. So, crazy, man.
Awesome.
That's insane.
Well,
let's move on.
Yeah, let's do it.
New York Giants versus the hapless Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. The inflated Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah,
we both had this game pegged right.
The worst 13-4 team I think there's ever been. It's only been the first time there's been a 13-4 team.
It's true.
Well, no, there was last year too.
I'm sure there might have been in the past 2
years. I can't remember. But yeah, they're the worst one out of all of them so far.
I can't believe it, man. I mean,
we called it though.
We did.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess what I can believe is just how we all predicted this. Kirk Cousins can't perform in these big situations. That defense has got a lot of holes. And then it turned out to be that was the case. I mean, they didn't rise to the challenge.
They really didn't. And I got to give Dable credit. I mean, they bracketed Jefferson all day long. They had a safety on him, and what's his name?
Peterson?
No. Hold on, I wrote it down, I can't find it right now.
Gotta find it.
Oh, Adoree Jackson.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
Adoree Jackson was on him all day and played a hell of a game, dude.
Adoree Jackson's good.
7 receptions, 47 yards.
47 yards, that's it.
And that's the number 1 wide receiver in the league. And don't get me wrong, he is the best wide receiver in the league.
Oh, yeah.
But
he's probably the offensive player of the year.
I do feel like he's going to get that like moniker of being a guy who doesn't show up for big games like Kirk Cousins himself. Because there was that game against Zaire.
Yep.
Where, the talk all week was Zaire said it was a fluke, and Jefferson's, I don't exactly remember what he said, but he didn't really say too much in the game. So
yeah, he couldn't. I mean, he had the gritty done on him.
Got grittied on.
Yeah. And so,
almost attacked a ref with his helmet on accident.
Yeah, he got really pissed.
But the big story of the game is Daniel Jones looked like a damn good fucking quarterback.
He is the one to talk about, man. He
really
deserves that contract next year.
He's going to get it. They have to now.
I mean, he's fast. He's mobile. He picked up 57 first yards with his legs this year.
Yeah, first downs.
What'd I say?
You said first yards, but I knew what you meant.
First downs. Thank you. Talking crazy.
In this game, though, 24 out of 35, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 17 carries for 78 yards. And, he was the leading rusher.
78 yards on the ground.
And he is the first quarterback to hit 300-plus yards, 2+ passing touchdowns, and 70+ rushing yards in any postseason game.
That was pretty impressive.
It's crazy, man. And then ISIAH Hodgins, I guess, is wide receiver 1 now, man. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Well, that or Richie James.
Yeah, 8 receptions, 105 yards, and a touchdown. And Dable has found a way to start using Saquon almost like a Christian McCaffrey, man.
When he broke through at the end of the game and scored that touchdown, I mean, he hit a speed. He sees a hole. He just takes it. I mean, I love watching him play because he reminds me a lot of old school running backs who can run you over. He's
and
super
then just break
fast.
away from you.
Yeah. I mean, I really respect his game a lot. And with them, and then they got Bellinger too. He's a belldozer. He basically is.
Big thing though, Kirk Cousins. Oh, let me give you Barkley's stats real quick. 9 carries, 53 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 5 receptions for 56 yards. So he's doing it running and receiving, which much like Christian McCaffrey, a dual threat right now, which is what seems to be the next big thing.
That's what you need.
So Kirk Cousins, though, 31 out of 39, 273 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 carry, 1 yard, and 1 touchdown rushing. Yeah. Hell of a stat line. But the thing that's going to be talked about forever is the final play. 4th and 8. And a 3-yard check down to T.J. Hawkinson.
He's been criticized and just raked over the coals for that, and he should be. You know, don't
terrible.
Just do something else.
You have Justin Jefferson, dude. Throw him the ball. I don't care if he's. I don't care how many people are on him.
I mean, what was it in the Buffalo game? Like 4th and 15, I think.
Yeah,
when he just chucked
caught
it
that one-handed ball.
Just throw it. Don't check down. I mean, it's a surrender move.
I mean, Hawkinson had a hell of a game though.
He did.
10 receptions. What was it? 129 yards.
He threw to Hawkinson a lot.
Yeah. Well, 10 receptions is a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's just nuts because he's really found a new home there, and he was good on Detroit, but in Minnesota, I think they're really liking it.
Yeah.
But. Do you start to move away from Kirk? I mean, he's got all that guaranteed money. You kind of have to stick with him.
How long was that contract, though? It was $90 million. Was it 3 or no?
I feel like
it was like guaranteed $90 million. How many years was it?
Probably 4 or 5. I want to say it was 5. So it's been 3 years, I believe.
I don't know. Either way, that looks like a terrible contract. He's got him to the playoffs 1 time in 5 years.
Yep.
This was the first time since the Minneapolis Miracle that they were in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And they shit the bed.
Yeah. It's so crazy because if you take a look at Daniel Jones, too, you don't think that he would be a great football player, but he's fast. His breakaway speed.
He is really fast, and Dable's just found a way to, like, capitalize on all of his strengths and not trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. There's just like, this is what you do? Okay, this is what we're going to fucking do, I guess.
You look at the Giants' offense rising, and then you look at the Buffalo's offense taking a step back from last year. Brian Dable seems to be the key there.
Yeah. Dable was the one.
Dable is the master.
Dable makes him able. You know what I mean?
Get it. With the alliteration. Love it.
All right, let's move on to the next game, which was also a lot closer than I think a lot of people suspected, considering the fact that Huntley was starting. Lamar, which we'll get into a little bit. There's some issues there, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, Huntley was starting, and this game wound up being 24-17 in Cincinnati's favor. But it looked a little rough there for a bit.
Came down to a goal line fumble. That play is the game. That's the play.
It literally was, and it's cool that guy lives in Cincinnati, from Cincinnati. Sam Hubbard is his name.
Went to high school there.
Yeah, 98-yard fumble return for a touchdown, and it's the longest one in playoff history.
I mean, I think there was still, and there was a lot of time still left to kind of be played, but
that just broke their back.
Just held on to it. I mean, and they were moving the ball. I mean, with J.K. Dobbins and with Tyler Huntley playing a decent game.
He did have that interception, though, on his second attempt that set up that Jamar Chase touchdown right there in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, that really hurt him.
But they did kind of stifle Jamar Chase compared to what you'd think he'd get. I mean, still 9 receptions, 84 yards, and a touchdown, but you think he'd be over 100 in a game like this. But that defense is legit.
They really are.
That's why they paid that linebacker all that dang money.
He got paid a lot of money. And he deserved it, too. I mean, it's crazy. He finished the year, I think, third in tackles. And this is a guy that switched teams, went to the Baltimore, and really turned that team around. You look at their stats. I mean, I think you sent me that stat line where
Roquan Smith just basically turned that team around when he got there.
They started averaging, I think, like 10 less points per game on defense.
Yeah, which is insane for one player to make that much difference. I could see that on the offensive side of the ball if it's a quarterback, but to have that big of a point swing on defense from a linebacker is nuts.
Yeah.
Cornerback, I guess, maybe would make more sense, but yeah, it's just crazy that he has that much of an
Linebackers
effect.
are like the quarterback of the defense.
They are. They usually got that green dot on their helmet calling all the plays.
There's a reason they do.
Yeah.
It's worth noting, too, that the Bengals lost another offensive line.
Dislocated kneecap.
Jonah Williams, probably going to be out next week, I imagine, right?
They said he's week to week. We'll see if he plays. But, I mean, Mahomes came back, 2 weeks after his knee fell off?
3 or 4. He
was
said
it?
he was fine, but they wouldn't let him come back. I think he was at 3 or 4.
I feel like it's one of those ones where once you pop it back on, you're good to go.
It is.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of a sprain from it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's sore.
Yeah, it just kind of feels a little weird, but
Yeah.
they just try to take all the precautions they can.
Yeah, well, I get it. There's a lot of money involved.
But regardless, that offensive line, he was scrambling around quite a bit.
Yeah, that hodgepodge line they have, I mean, it fucked Mixon, and then Burrow was running all over. I mean, Mixon, what did he have? 11 carries for 39 yards. The D just, for Baltimore, controlled that game for the majority of it, and then they just couldn't do enough.
It sucks because it really was a stalemate just up until Tyler Huntley tried reaching the ball over it, and you just wonder, like, just go low. Tom Brady.
That's what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to go low, and that's what Harbaugh said. He's like, that play's designed to go low.
Really?
And he went over the top. So
come on.
It is what it is. And then if you hear J.K. Dobbins after the game coming out saying that Huntley should have never been in that position and they should have given him the ball on 4th and 1.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, they were running the ball decently, and I heard him criticize that they should have just given Dobbins the ball more to begin with.
Yeah,
he didn't get enough
13 carries, 62 yards. What do you have through the air? 4 receptions, 43 yards, and the touchdown receiving. So he was doing everything, and he was pretty pissed off about it, I guess, at the end of the game, just saying, I don't know why you wouldn't give me the ball.
Wow. He's right. I mean, it wasn't like they were playing catch-up a lot of the game. It was tied for most of the game.
Yeah. Burrow did, he still had a pretty decent game. 23 out of 32, 1 touchdown, 5 carries, 9 yards, and a touchdown rushing. And he led the Bengals to their second straight postseason win, which is the first time that's happened in Bengals history.
Yeah.
Back-to-back postseason wins.
Look at that gap where they won like 3 in a span of like 40 years.
Yeah.
And then he comes there and they've won 3 now.
Yeah. Pretty good turnaround there.
He's making a big difference there.
Let's see. What else? Baltimore did go into the half leading, which was, I think everybody was pretty blown away by 10-9, and that was thanks to that fumble by Hayden Hurst, which they were able to turn that into some points, the field goal that gave them the lead, actually. So at that point, I think people were starting to worry, like, is Cincinnati? And I don't know how far they're going to be able to go. And same with Buffalo, facing legit pass rushers coming up. I mean, especially going to Kansas City. Chris Jones is definitely up there for Defensive Player of the Year. And
they said
he's not going to get it.
He's second to Nick, but I hear a lot about Micah Parsons and stuff. But if you look at
people are saying that game last night might have cemented Micah Parsons, but
they don't judge the playoff games. I think all the votes are in before that.
Maybe
I don't think they should. I mean, there's times where guys that don't make the playoffs kind of deserve it because they've carried their team.
Yeah,
but still, it's like I just don't. You look at it, Micah Parsons' total numbers. It's not even close to Nick Bosa.
Yeah, I know Nick Bosa has the most pressures, I think, out of anybody this year on the quarterback and shit. So
as DN, and then Chris Jones is the interior.
Yeah, he's got the most as interior,
but it's like
a lot
10
more.
or 15 more. Like he's really solidified that first team All Pro.
It's hard for those interior guys to win shit, though. It just sucks for them.
Yeah, but he does it often. He draws double teams, which frees up other guys. So
yeah,
that's why I'm so glad they're playing each other. The Bengals and Bills. I mean, what better game could we ask for this weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. But Baltimore's got some serious issues coming up this offseason, and there's a lot of people thinking Lamar might say, fuck you guys and go play somewhere else. So.
Maybe to Carolina.
Carolina,
I heard today,
Miami.
The Jets today. I heard that as well.
Yeah.
It's crazy because, they come out and say, and they want to try to save face that, well, we want him to come back, but you're not willing to pay him.
Yeah, you would have already done it.
This guy's won the MVP. It sucks, but I do kind of see both sides of it.
Well, he's been hurt in the playoffs the last 2 years.
Yeah, and he can't really win a big playoff game either.
No.
So, to me, they're criticized a lot, like, oh, you paid Terrell Suggs, you pay Ray Lewis, why not pay him?
Well,
those are the guys.
Roquan Smith $100 million.
That too, yeah. It's just they really take care of their defense. That's their bread and butter. But when it comes to offense, and I mean, they never really brought in a good wide receiver for him, too.
That's the big thing, too, that he's bitching about. Is like, well, the only wide receiver I had that was good, you traded the Cardinals. Granted, he did get hurt this year and missed like half the year, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't much that he played, but
yeah, Hollywood.
There's talk that Hopkins, if he goes to the Ravens, and that could keep Lamar there.
Yeah, but then they're going to have to pay Hopkins. They still haven't paid Lamar.
I know. They're going to have to be paying everybody next year.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I want the Chiefs keep beating the Ravens. So
yeah, that'd be nice. Let's move on. The last game, we got Dallas versus Tampa, and we had this one wrong.
Boy, were we wrong.
Yeah, I think Dallas heard what everybody was talking.
They heard Stephen A. barking, and so they were like, let's prove him wrong. Dak had probably the best game I may have ever seen him play, man. Some of those throws really he were hitting.
Really good. 25 out of 33, 305 yards, 4 touchdowns, 7 carries, 24 yards, and 1 touchdown rushing. And that one rushing touchdown, everybody was comparing it to that. The Peyton one against Dallas.
Yep.
But I almost posted it today, and it was like, one of these looks like it's in slow motion. Which one is it?
That's funny. It's true. And you know what's sad is, like, you've seen it before. I mean, but with Dak, you know, that's the thing is with the Broncos, you know, it worked because no one expects Peyton to do that.
Nobody. When that happened, everybody was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Where's
Peyton?
Fooled the cameraman, too.
Yeah, I know, that was so funny. The cameraman just, like, watching everything, and it's like, oh, shit.
He's got the ball. But Dak has legs, and so the defense has to be aware of that right there at the goal line. And he just
This is a really good play call, though.
Oh,
and
great.
He did a hell of a job hiding that ball. So
yeah, when they showed the replay, that ball was right behind him, and you just couldn't tell.
So,
I mean, yeah, wow, the Cowboys came through, and I hopefully ended Brady's career. I hope so.
It hasn't. I don't think so. But one can hope.
Yeah, one can hope.
Because I think he might be in the AFC West next year.
Yeah, it's very possible, but you know,
but we'll see what happens. This was the first game in 8 games that Dak didn't turn the ball over, and that's the big thing.
Yeah.
And if they do play like that and they don't turn the ball over, they can beat San Francisco. But against that defense, I don't think Dak's going to have as much. To
me, it's like neck and neck. I mean, what better game could we? I'm so glad
that's going to be
won.
The defensive battle for sure.
Yeah.
Like 2 of the top defenses in the NFL are going to be going at it.
And then you got weapons like CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, who had a hell of a game last night.
Yeah.
Zeke, Dalton Schultz,
yeah.
And then, Zeke and Tony Pollard, man. He's
the leading rusher in this game. Still, I think he's been the leading rusher probably 75% of the games.
Most of the games, yeah. I mean, you see a lot of those where it's just a little crease. He hits instead of Zeke, where Zeke puts his head down, like, I'm going to power, feed me. Yeah. It doesn't work. You know, you get pushed back for 2 yards. But Tony, he breaks tackles, he gets through there, and he's a serious weapon for him. So
yeah, he definitely is. And like you said, CeeDee Lamb had another pretty damn good game. What did he wind up with? 4 receptions, 68 yards, and a touchdown. Michael Gallup also pulled in a touchdown.
Yeah.
And like you said, Dalton Schultz had 2 touchdowns, which is a hell of a game for him to go with 7 receptions and 95 yards. Talk about a hell of a tight end game right there.
Yeah.
Wish fantasy was still going. You know?
It would have been nice to pick him up. Well, we can do DraftKings.
We can. We still can do DraftKings. That's true, daily. And by the way, DraftKings, if you're watching, and we know that you are, please reach out, and we'll talk about you for some monies.
Or FanDuel, just like Pat McAfee.
Anybody. Doesn't matter. Just somebody. Please. Anybody. Get at us.
Money.
But yeah, they looked fucking good, except for Brett Maher, and he might.
Holy shit! I think
he might not have a job. I don't know.
Either
I'm
that,
still waiting.
or...
I'm surprised he still has a job. To tell you the truth.
To me, I don't understand why the NFL isn't investigating if he was shaving off points. I think
they did hit the under.
Yeah, that's what's nuts. I mean, a lot of people bet on that, and there was a guy I worked with. He put 100 on it, and he lost. If Brett Maher hits this, I was watching the game last night on silent, and while we're like watching shows and stuff, one that I'm going to recommend later, and I'm looking down, I see, okay, I saw they scored 6, and then I saw the missed extra point. Then I see they score again, and I look down, I'm like, well, okay, maybe they went for 2 and didn't get it. Then I look back after they scored. You know, I'll see they score, and then I'll look up and keep watching the show or something. And I look down, it's 18-0. I'm like, what is going on? Did Brett Maher get hurt? That dude's shaving points like fucking Adam Sandler in The Longest Yard, man.
I hope he is, dude. Good for him.
I think it'd be hilarious. You look at his face afterwards, it was such one of those faces like a kid that was like got caught from his parents like,
I didn't do it.
How did that happen? What? I mean, by the fourth one, it happened 4 times.
Yeah.
His eyes go all big, like, oh my God. Like, you're not selling it, dude. You got to take an acting class before you shave points. That's what I'm saying. Like,
those are bold allegations, Chad.
and this is how I know this. He was my fantasy kicker for like the last 6 to 8 weeks of the season, and he killed it for me. He was reliable. That's all you can ask for. And so for this to happen in the playoffs, someone came to him in that Dallas mob and was like, listen, we need to hit the under.
If we don't hit the under, we're going to break your leg.
Yeah. You want to keep kicking? You'll be the lonesome kicker.
You heard of Tanya Harding?
Oh, that's nice.
Good pull.
Good call.
Yeah, Brady, though, I mean, it's like we were talking about a little bit earlier. He did have 66 attempts in this game and broke his own record.
Can you believe I don't even think that's worth noting because, I mean, that was bad play calling by the offense. Run the fucking ball.
And by the way, Byron Leftwich just got fired today, so.
What?
Yeah.
I must have missed that.
Yeah.
But
that OC got fired.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. They ran, I think it was like with 3 or 4 minutes left in the fourth. I mean, they're playing catch up anyway, but they had only ran the ball 9 times.
Yeah.
You got Leonard
Rashad
Fournette.
White, 7 carries, 41 yards. Yeah, they couldn't run the ball, and I think that's one of their bread and butters, and without that, it's easy just to clamp down on Brady and the receivers, because the receivers did not have good games. Aside from Godwin.
I don't think you should I think we should reward that. Brady caused those wide receivers to have bad games. If you look at a lot of that game, he's missing those guys. And what pissed me off more, and I still respect him, but I'm losing a lot of that because he was yelling at a lot of those guys. K. Dotton was coming across the middle, or no, he was running a seam route. And he just underthrows him because he's fucking old and is afraid of getting hit. Underthrows him, and he yells at K. Dotton, come back, come back. I mean, it was towards the end of the game with 3 or 4 minutes left in the game where Godwin is just running a crossing route, and Brady leads him too much, and he just throws up his hand like, why didn't you do this and stuff? It's like, you're missing these open guys.
Yeah.
It's so sad and whiny out there yelling at them.
Well, he's been bitching all year. Look at how many times he broke tablets this year.
Yeah. I mean, that's all he does is bitch, and I don't know, and I got tired of seeing where he would get sacked like a whiny baby. He just like pushes these guys off him, like, get off me. It's fucking football. There's going to be a little bit of a pile up, dog pile sometimes.
And they did try and slide tackle somebody I saw. I forget who it was.
I guess I didn't see that.
I think it was on a fumble or something. I missed it. I
Really?
missed exactly what was happening.
Yeah.
That game I didn't get to watch because I was at practice.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, I mean, if you go back through and watch a lot of those like sacks or incompletions in the highlights, I mean, he is frightened to get hit. And that's why
he's 45, Chad.
It doesn't matter. That avocado ice cream isn't going to save you. I think we should save an ELE for next week because I don't think he's coming back. If he had any type of like unselfishness in him at all, don't come back. You don't have it anymore.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't think he's going to give it up though. The guy's a psychopath.
Well, we'll debate it next week. We'll move on.
He ended his marriage.
To keep playing football. His son's going to be
not very
graduating high school. I need to go play.
All right, man. That's it. That wraps up the wild card weekend, which was one hell of a weekend of football. And next weekend is going to be the same, man. We're going to have a bunch of good football next weekend. And right now we're going to roll into the musical break. And that's going to be Fast Eddie. And they're going to be coming at you with the song Help Me. And we'll be right back. Thank you.
Jam out.
Down at the bar, we were acting like stars, but I was looking at you. I knew I wasn't your type, I wasn't your Mr. Right, but what could I do? I've been walking around, was feeling down till you came into view. So won't you help me stand up on my feet, baby? The only thing I need, baby.
And we are back yet again. You just heard Help Me by Fast Eddie. If If you can, please go like and follow them on anything social media-wise and follow them on Spotify. Please visit their website, fasteddy.com, and purchase all of their cool merch as well as their albums. All the songs you've been hearing are off the album Take a Look, which is their new album, so check it out. It is definitely a good one, and let us know what you think. Get back at us. Anyways, let's get back into the fast break, Chad.
Shall we?
Well, let's just get into it. We haven't even been into it. How can you get back into it if you haven't been in it?
Well, we got to get into
Let's
it.
get in it. Let's
Come
get
on
in it
now.
right now. All right, so a couple big things in news. Chad, what do you got?
Well, I've got the fact that Memphis Grizzlies, we talked about it a little earlier in the beginning of the episode, have won 10 straight.
Yeah, which is crazy. And Ja finally got one of those dunks that we've all been seeing the crazy misses of. He finally got that fucking...
He even said, he was like, I finally gave you guys what you've been asking for. It was got to be, I'd say, tied with Eric Gordon for Dunk of the Year.
Yeah, I just like Aaron Gordon's because it was like at the end of the game, and I feel like that like was the end of the game. Even
And
though
that it was a
wasn't.
game winner, too. Yeah.
We did forget something. I did it again.
We got to do the shot at the turn, Chris.
God damn it,
I just
dude.
thought of it, too.
Well, I'm glad that you also forgot. So in your face.
Barely.
Shot at the turn.
All right.
Episode 20, man. Halfway through. Cheers, my friend.
To the Nuggets.
To the Nuggets. Another good win. Whoa. Ooh.
I know.
Whoa.
That's a shot.
Chad got me some Tid Cup for the old birthday.
Yep. You know, golfer's
And,
choice. John Daly might approve.
It's got some bite. A little bit of
I
bite.
know. It's been a while since I've had that one. Had a little peppery
Little
taste to
little bite, a little burn. Ooh.
Woo! All right, so what?
Oh, LeBron. We want to talk about LeBron.
Yeah, we
I
got
did want
to.
to mention one thing. Did you see that video? I posted it earlier of him and Jabari Smith Jr.
Yeah.
Pretty
Jabari
wild.
goes to him at halftime. He's like, "Dude, you played with my dad."
in your first game. It was LeBron's first game.
That's crazy, man.
It's fucking nuts. And then in that thing I shared, he's played with 8 father-son duos.
That blew me away because I thought when I saw the Jabari thing, I was like, "Well, it's got to be maybe 3 or 4 at this point." 8?
Yeah.
This guy needs to have like.
It's crazy too, dude. Kenyon Martin's son's playing. Kenyon Martin's not that fucking old. He just
a lot of
retired.
these
Like,
guys are fucking
he just retired like 4 or 5 years ago.
having
His son's
kids in
already
4 or 5 different cities.
Yeah.
Like Sean Kemp.
Remember? No, not
No,
Sean
what was
Kemp.
it? What was it?
Darrell Revis had like 9 kids by like all these different baby mamas.
Damn.
Imagine that child support bill.
Ugh, that'd be a lot. Not worth it. I know that. Yeah, no, I know it was it Sean Kemp that had like a bunch though too though?
He probably did. I mean, I'm sure there's more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember hearing about Sean Kemp. I just remember Darrell Revis being like the main.
That's crazy. I'll have to look that up because I'm pretty sure Sean Kemp had like basically not like Magic
Yeah.
Johnson, but like he had a lot of baby mamas.
Yeah, in different area codes.
Dude, use a condom. Come on
What are
now.
you doing?
Yeah.
You lose all the sensation.
It's not the same.
It's not the same, man.
Seriously,
But babies.
yeah. John Morant with that dunk, man. Circle
Yeah.
back around. When I saw it, I mean, I had to share that reel and try to throw our hashtag with it. I was like, Lord have mercy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to get one of those videos to go viral like that one. But one of these
Yeah,
days.
we still don't understand why that happened.
It's
but
hard
you
to figure
know,
out
one
the
day we're gonna
form
fucking
of.
figure out that goddamn algorithm.
Yeah. Well,
I
dunks,
hate it.
It seems like dunks go viral, so that's what
Yeah,
I'm jumping on.
yeah.
This
That's
one.
why I tried with the Aaron Gordon one. Didn't work out though. Didn't go nearly as not much happened.
It's weird.
Again, we still don't understand why.
But the way
that one-
Jaw just went, woo!
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like
Boom.
completely arm extended back. The ball is basically looked like it could fall out of his hand,
Yep.
and then just hammers it down.
That's
It just-
what.
That guy's gonna be. He could be like the next Kobe, Michael Jordan type guy.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's so talented to watch. I mean, and he creates
he
wins
just bounces
too.
so. It's insane how much he can just fly through the air, just like.
He's so fast, man. I mean, when he took off and made that dunk, and he actually just did one a couple nights before. But that's what's nuts is his, posters. That one that just happened a couple nights ago, it's just ridiculous how he tops it each time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's exciting to watch. I mean, it's the reason why, like, back in the day in high school, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but I was a huge fan of Tracy McGrady.
Oh, yeah.
Does he remind me of, like, some of the and one players? Plus, he kind of, like, always looked like he was high when he was playing. He's
Yeah.
like, 3, swish. I don't know. It cracked me up, and so I was a big T-Mac fan. But Ja reminds me in the same way where he just looks like he's having fun out there. He makes these guys look like high school players.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
One thing, circling back to LeBron real quick, he did score 48 points in that game,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
I've got that written down as well. As a matter of fact, he's 316 points away from breaking Kareem's record.
Is it that far? I thought it was.
Yeah, the other night when you said that, I was like, "What are you talking about? He's 459 points away."
Say something like that.
No,
well, apparently not everything on the internet is true.
Isn't that a shocker?
It's a bummer.
It's crazy.
I've been basing my whole life off of it.
Apparently, maybe like in a month and a half, I think he's expected to beat it. But I mean, it's a bummer, man. I mean, you look at what Kareem did with his career, and for social justice, he's considered an amazing writer. Where he writes these like columns sometimes.
And Meryl was watching Veronica Mars. I don't know if you've ever.
I don't know.
It's got Kristen Bell. Did I say
that's
weird?
ringing a bell.
Dax Shepard's wife.
Sketch that.
Yeah, ringing a bell. But she was watching it, and she's like, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a writer on this episode of Veronica Mars.
That's crazy.
And I was like, that's weird, but I was like, he is like kind of a pretty like prolific journalist and has written a lot of like opinion pieces on like social justice stuff.
Very
and,
respected too. I mean, I feel like we're not doing it him justice
nothing
because
we do will ever do something like that justice.
No, what I'm saying, you idiot, is by describing it because he's like
no, I'm just saying
been awarded like
Yeah.
you know, it's not Pulitzer Prize. I'm not smart enough to know those type of awards, but you know, he's been awarded for his writing, and that's the thing. What I'm trying to get at is, it's really interesting how Kareem isn't really friends with LeBron and doesn't really talk with him much because LeBron doesn't come out.
Yeah, that was something that he made a point of to say is like, just like with the platform you have, you should be doing more or less.
And which is pretty interesting because I know people that I know firsthand that they don't like LeBron because he's already outspoken enough and he provides his 2 cents on maybe too much.
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know.
It's hard now too with everybody having fucking podcasts. Speak of the devil, we also have one. But it is hard with everybody wanting to have a podcast now. And then, you know, LeBron's got the shop. And
did you like Space Jam?
No,
I didn't either. It was horrible.
I watched it and I was like, this sucks.
It's so bad. It's such a disgrace.
They
to the
should
other
not
one.
have made it.
I couldn't have. I mean, there needs and. It's got to be out there with memes of Michael Jordan just from like The Last Dance, just watching it on that iPad, being like, really just giggling, like, I'm better than you at this too.
Yeah,
like shit. Like, come on, man. I did not enjoy it.
Not to digress too much because we do got to fly through this NBA stuff. But
sorry,
who was it? Somebody was talking about golfing with Jordan, and like, they were like, you know, like. Sometimes people put a couple hundred on the hole. Some people doing 1,000, and then you ask Jordan what he's got on the hole: $300,000 on one hole of golf. That dude gambled insane.
Quarters with the security guards.
Yeah, that crazy security.
And even though they're
guard.
making like minimum wage, it's gonna take their money too.
I'm sure that guy made pretty good money. He was
well, yeah, not
he was
minimum
like the
wage.
top
That's
guy.
probably
I'm
bad.
sure that, you know, all the players even probably hooked that guy up with shit. He looked like he was always hanging out with the players. And
he
shit.
was always they were always best friends with them too, which is pretty cool.
And then he won in Last Dance, and he was all stoked. And Jordan's like, "You ain't gonna get me next time."
It's just crazy seeing how much he gambles, but
let's get into the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference real quick. We are going to run through what
real quick. Jason Tatum had 51 points last night.
That's I'm going to talk about that right here.
Sorry, man.
Right now, you're all good.
In.
No, it's still news, so it's all newsworthy.
Let's cover it.
You're all good.
It's worth noting.
So we're going to do both the Eastern Conference and Western Conference. Just hit the top 3. There was a lot of football to talk about this week. And with my birthday and shit, I didn't get into the deep dive of the NHL. But next week when the All-Star break's happening, it is next week, all week, huh?
I feel like it's got to be. I mean, I haven't heard much talk about it. It's the midway point, right?
Yeah,
40,
it's not
41
too long
games.
after, so we're already in it. So it's
So
got
I
to
don't
be.
know what
I
they're
think
waiting
you're right.
on.
I think it is coming after this week.
Yeah.
But with that happening, we will deep dive the NHL, and yeah, it just life. What are you gonna do? But let's get into the Eastern Conference, and like Chad mentioned, the leaders in the Eastern Conference are Boston at 33-12, and like Chad mentioned, Tatum 51 points. 15 out of 23 from the field and 14 out of 14 at the free throw line. So that dude, I mean, they were chanting MVP, but I hate to say it, we already know who the MVP is.
Damn right we do. Jokic.
We'll go over that here at the end of this when we go through the mid-season awards.
Yep.
So, but yeah, Tatum had a hell of a game. MVP chance raining down on the road, mind you, in Charlotte. Sitting on 48 points with a minute left, he was thinking about not taking the shot, but then he remembered a text Jamal Crawford sent him, and he basically was saying, like, next time you're that close to 50, he's like, nobody gives a shit. I'm paraphrasing. He's like, nobody gives a shit about the time or when it happened. It's like, all they care about is that you got 50. And he thought about that and then hit that three and put him up to 51 points. And
that's crazy.
yeah, it's, I get it though, man. Like, you want to be humble to some extent, and Jokic would never do that. Ever. He would never take that shot to put him to 50 if it wasn't, something that he had to do. And we'll touch on him in a little bit. But yeah, it's just, he took it, and I don't blame him for it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen often. He doesn't get 50 very often at all. But, it's really saying something a lot that he is still in the race for the MVP. He's really showing out, scoring a lot of points, and taking over at out of that three-headed monster where you got Marcus Smart as the defensive guy, you got Jaylen Brown as a great number 2, and then Jason Tatum. I mean, that
he does it all.
And then they drafted somebody really well that I've heard a lot about, but I can't remember his name right now. That has been playing really good this year.
Is it Malcolm Brogdon?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's his 50th point game, and they did beat the Hornets 130-118. Derek White also had 19 points and 8 assists, and Malcolm Brogdon 16 points. Celtics have won 7 straight, and they take on the Warriors Thursday on TNT at 5:30.
Whoa, I'm starring that game.
So that's going to be a damn good game to watch. Warriors are back almost healthy all the way.
Curry, I meant to say this earlier. He hit like 43 or something the other night.
That guy could use a rest, man.
Yeah, Thursday night, Celtics at Warriors. That's a rematch.
Yeah,
of the
5:30
finals.
on TNT.
Yep.
And that's going to move us into the second place Nets sitting there.
Is that at Warriors or is it at?
I think it is, but I cannot remember to tell you the truth.
Right. We'll figure that out later. So that'll be a good game to watch. So want to go over the West?
Well, let me touch on the Nets real quick.
Yeah.
They lost to the Thunder. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is looking like he might be like a rising star in the NBA.
Yep.
Team him up with Josh Giddey. They both score 28 points and lead the Thunder 112-102 over the Nets. This is the Nets' second straight loss after losing Durant to a sprained knee, which we knew that was going to affect them.
They have to have him.
Yeah, Kyrie finished with 15 points, and Royce O'Neal added 11. Ben Simmons did miss this game with back soreness. The Nets led going into the fourth 80-75, but a 15-6 run by Giddey, fueled by Giddey's 9 points, put it to 90-86. They just couldn't come back from that. So Nets take on the Spurs tonight. Moving on to the Bucks. Giannis missed his third straight game.
Yeah,
which I meant to mention this in the news. That's pretty big.
No, I thought about
Knee
mentioning
soreness.
that too, because anytime it's a knee, you really wonder how bad it's going to be.
Well, and remember in the playoffs last year, I forget if he was driving to the lane or if he was getting a rebound, but his knee buckled, and everybody thought like, "Oh my God, he just tore his ACL."
Oh yeah,
I think he missed a game or
I
two
remember
and came
that.
back and then was fine, but maybe that's residual from that. But
it could be.
They're definitely being careful with it, but they're gonna have to get him back soon because they're still missing. Who was it? Oh, shit. Chris Middleton. That's who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Middleton's missed 16 straight games. Joe Ingles was also out. Jrue Holiday and Bobby Portis were both listed as probable. They both did play. And Jrue, I just said that weird. Jrue Holiday had his season. Jrue. Had a season-high 35 points to go with 11 assists. The Bucks need to get healthy and weather the storm because they can get out of the top 3 real quick.
The Nets and the Bucks falling to 3 and 4 if they don't get healthy soon, especially the Nets because they won't get Kevin Durant back for at least maybe another 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, a month at least.
Yeah.
So, they take on the Raptors as we speak. They are up 96 to 88 right now. 3:56 left in the third. That's on TNT. None of this matters to you because you won't be hearing about this while this is going on.
It does matter because you guys are
It's good to let you
interested.
guys know that shit's happening while we're doing this podcast.
We
and
know
we're on top of it.
Love to hear it.
We've got our fingers on the pulse, so just know that.
As a matter of fact, I went through and since we are at the midseason, I wanted to cover the 4th and 5th teams of each conference just real quick. We're not going to break them down, but
Okay.
in the East, we got the 76ers at 4th at 27 and 16, and then the 5th in the East, the Cavs at 28 and 17.
Both of those, and it's just like you said, with both those teams nipping at your heels, the Cavs are really good.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, he did miss this last game, I think.
There's a lot of stars hurt.
But it is that midseason point. I think they are kind of resting guys before the All-Star break to kind of
true.
give them a little bit longer of a break. But, you know,
It is the load management
healthy
league.
scratches, load management, it is what it is.
In the West, we got the Kings, the Kings. Oh, we haven't even gone the West, have we?
No, so we'll get
I'm
to that
jumping
here.
ahead.
No, you're fine. I got
killing
what
it.
you were doing. You were talking about it. You're moving on. But we'll just run through the top 3, and then we'll get those ones.
Right.
The Western Conference, man, that's a murderer's row in the Western Conference.
A lot of good teams.
A lot of good teams, which, I mean, we know the East, there's usually those 2 or 3 teams in the East that we always know are going to be there, but I think the East is starting to turn into the West a little bit. There's just so much talent in the league right now, and there's more coming in. But the first place Nuggets right here.
There we
Nuggets.
go. Old school jersey.
Yeah, repping the old school jersey. 30 and 13, and the reigning and rightful MVP of this year does it again with a step back, go-ahead three-pointer with 1.2 left to put the cherry on top of his 12th triple-double of the year. 17 points, 14 assists, and 10 rebounds, his 88th of all time.
That was nasty, man. I mean, a step back 3 to win the game.
Yeah.
Didn't have to.
Were you watching it? I know I was texting you what was going on.
I wasn't watching it. There was football going on right now.
That's right.
And so I went, but football ended.
One of us was watching.
I'm glad you were watching, but
One of us is always watching.
I'm always dedicated, and I watch the highlights and recap right afterwards. And so I did, and I couldn't believe it because, I mean, for listeners out there, it was tied. He could have just gone for an easy
116. Let's talk about what happened there, though. So Aaron Gordon hit 2 free throws to put him to 116 to 114. And then Jamal had the most boneheaded foul I've seen in a while. There's no reason to do it. It worked out, though, because what was his name? Markelle Fultz. I think that was his name. Markelle Fultz. He went to the line. He went 1 of 1, so that put him to 115, 116. And then, that basically – that tied it. Right? Yeah, that's right. So it's 116, 115. Markelle Fultz hit the 1. That ties it, and that sets up that play where, Jamal takes the ball down, and he ate up way too much time. I don't know what was going on with Jamal at the end of that game, but he ate up way too much time.
That's not like him either.
Dumped it to Jokic. Jokic is trying to look for an outlet, and then he's just like, fuck it, and just steps back. And just hits this high arcing 3 and just boom, and
swishes it.
And this is the great part about it, and this is why Jokic is the best. Dude doesn't fucking care.
Nope.
And he just turns around to run back on defense because he's like, there's still time left on the clock. The game's not over. Meanwhile, his teammates are like flooding the court and jumping all over him, and he's like, guys, stop. We got to finish the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how that dude is.
Like, what, 2 seconds? Maybe
0.2.
Yeah,
I think it was
0.2 seconds left.
when he got the ball and shot it.
Well, that's what I was saying, man. I mean, I think we've never really talked about it, but it's obvious. He goes into a flow state, and when you hit a game winner like that, you're still in that. There's other players that they might jump up on the scoring table. They might like lose it or do a Dame time.
Oh, if it was LeBron, he'd be doing the step down thing and
talking
it's just
shit.
Like,
but that's why we love Jokic. He's humble.
Dude's all
He's
business.
not like that. And so right afterwards, he runs back on defense, and everybody's rushing him, but he has no emotion in his face. And finally, when the game's over, he's just kind of like, yeah, we won. But
he
knowing
doesn't care.
him, I guarantee you if a Siberian reporter was to ask him, he'd probably be upset that it came down to that last second.
Yeah, probably. That's
Yeah.
just how he is. Jamal Murray, I know we did kind of just badmouth him a little bit. He still went for 18 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. Orlando, I mean, I thought this game was going to be a blowout. They battled back.
Yeah.
The Nuggets were up 15 at half. The Orlando had it within 6 by the end of the third. MPJ had a little bit of a good night, 16 points, 4 3-pointers. And the league-leading three-point shooter, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, had 2 to add to his tally. Don't be surprised if that guy is not in the three-point shooting contest.
He should be. He's leading the league.
In the All-Star break.
Yeah.
But they take on the Trailblazers tonight. We kind of talked about it. It's a big game. We'll see what happens.
The Trailblazers are only...
It's here, though, so we've got that going for us.
It is, but the thing of it is, and why we call it a big game, Hannah always
Dame.
gives me shit because every game, I'm like, it's a big game. She's like, every game's a big game. You always say that.
Well, in football it is. In basketball, there's differences.
It is.
So 82
But
of them, so
I will
some of them
concede
aren't big.
that I always say that. And it's fine because they are always
They're
a big
all
game.
big. I care.
Well, the reason why, too, is, even though the Trailblazers are 21-22, not so much of a threat, Dame plays the Nuggets hard. He does not let up.
I think I don't know if him and Jamal have something going on. I don't think there's really I don't think they're friends.
I think it's just like an individual rivalry, too. Like him and Donovan, like those guys just go at it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Again, Jokic is the shit. And
Yep,
it's cool to
no
watch him
doubt
play
about it.
basketball. The second place Grizz, 30-13 as well, rout the injury-plagued Suns, 136-106. This game was not close. The Suns are missing a shitload of people. They're hurt.
falling off.
They're falling off bad.
The Grizzlies, we're going to talk about it here in a second when we give the midseason awards.
Yeah.
They've got a team right now. They're good on defense.
Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier, 10-game win streak. Morant's also getting MVP chances. He scores 29. Desmond Bane adds 28 points. They are one win away from tying their franchise record of 11 straight wins, which happened last year. Which is a very possible thing for them to do.
Team to watch out for.
Yeah, the coach said, we're not a finished product. We're just trying to find a way to win right now, and they're managing to do it in pretty convincing fashion. This was their third game straight with over 130 points, which is
Holy shit.
Yeah, which tied their franchise record.
That's
so they could
saying
break
something.
that next week. I'm thinking it's football.
It's like NBA jam.
I think they play. Who do they play? Play the Cavs tomorrow. That's going to be a fucking good
that'll
game.
be a good game.
Yeah. But yeah, who we're going to talk about here in a little bit, Jaren Jackson Jr., 18 points and 6 blocks.
He's getting so
6
many blocks a game.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to have 3 blocks. That's a lot of blocks.
Oh, yeah.
6
That's
is
a decent
nuts.
game.
Yeah.
That's Makembe Mutombo numbers right there.
Dikembe Mutombo?
Yeah,
You were
that.
close.
It's a hard
It was
name to
almost
say.
there. It is.
I'm biased.
Morant and Dylan Brooks sat for the fourth quarter, so they didn't have to do much after the third,
Yeah.
which is nice to get your guys some rest in a game like that. The D played just a huge part. 8 steals. Like I said, the 6 blocks all coming from Jaren Jackson Jr. Cavs is going to be a good game tomorrow, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I hope Donovan plays. He should.
We'll see. He didn't play this game, but we'll see what happens. Third, you've got the Pelicans, 26-18. They did lose to the Cavs. Darius Garland scores 30. They beat the Pelicans 113-103. Jarrett Allen added another 24 points as Cleveland surged past the Pels in the fourth quarter, with Donovan Mitchell injured on the bench. Like I said, he missed that last game. Mitchell scored 11 points in 22 minutes, but sat out the fourth with a strained groin. No mention was made of severity, but the Pels were also without Williamson. They're also still missing Brandon Ingram with that dang old bunged-up toe.
Yeah. I'd like to see how they do once they get healthy.
Yeah. They stayed relatively competitive while missing the average 46 points from those two, which is a decent amount of points. What just happened? Did Kansas win?
Okay, you tied it up. We're down to 57 seconds left. Guys, you were going to see me fucking going off. This is ridiculous. They should be beat. K-State's good right
I
now.
hope they lose just for the reaction.
I'm going to throw this fucking pin at your head.
McCollum scored 25, and Valanciunas had 22 points and 13 rebounds. Pels have gone 2-3 on a 5-game, 10-day road trip, and they take on the Heat tomorrow. Now,
That should be a
Chad,
good game.
4th and 5th place. Let's
We
hear
got
about it.
the Kings. Sabonis.
Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacramento Kings. It's crazy. I mean, talk about the longest professional team playoff drought. They hold that streak right now.
Yeah.
Over, I think the Browns. No, not the Browns. I heard it earlier this year. Maybe it's the Lions. But
It might be the Lions.
yeah, they they've been suffering a playoff win in quite a while, and it's kind of cool to see them going, pretty far. I like Sabonis. I'm not trying to break this down too much, but at 5th, we got the Mavs. It's just because Luka only has Luka. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, he doesn't have much, and I think that's why there is a lot of rumors saying he might not be there next year. And we've talked about it before. We mentioned
That would
might
be
want to team up
super
with
team.
Jokic.
That would be crazy. I would take it. No, most times I would say
You-
no.
I would say take Jamal
Yeah, take Jamal. Take
and PJ. Boom, 2
Yep.
big contracts gone.
Good.
1 big contract or 2.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're
that
going to
evens
take
out
that,
to me.
we'll see about that. But that wraps it up, man, for the NBA. Like I said, next week I will get into the NHL a lot more. I do really want to do that. It's just, we don't want to have 3-hour-long shows. Otherwise, we would give you all the coverage we could possibly give you. But we have lives, and this 2-hour-ish show, we try to keep it an hour and a half. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah, we got stuff to do.
We got homework now and shit. So let's move on to the
Real quick,
the preview.
Do you
What?
want to cover?
Oh,
just,
shit. I'm sorry.
Mid-season awards. It's time to kind of go over it. Just
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna
almost
hit it
skipped
real
it.
quick because there's really not a debate for all 3 of them.
Yeah.
But just to give you guys our prediction for right now.
Yeah, MVP is going to be Jokic.
No doubt about that. We hit
Unless he, something bad happens.
Yeah.
Which we're not even going to talk about.
We've beat that drum so much. We know you guys don't want to hear about it
So,
anymore.
moving on to
Defensive Player of the Year,
which we just kind of talked about, Jaren Jackson Jr.
So Jaren Jackson's averaging leads the NBA in blocks per game at 3.3.
That's a lot.
He missed the first 14 games of the year, but since he's come back, he's moved the Grizzlies defense from 19th to 1st. That's how big of a difference he's made.
Again, it's just like Roquan Smith over there.
Right there. It's a good example. Yep. Rookie of the Year. Who you got?
Paolo Banchero.
There's no question about it. Right now, he's rivaling numbers up there as Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James as points per game.
Yeah.
It's 21.2 right now.
It was fun watching those two play basketball in that
no
first
doubt.
year.
Yeah. But, I mean, nobody expected Banchero to come on and make this big of a splash.
No.
I mean, we saw he gave us a headache the other night.
Yeah, he did. And thankfully they pulled that one out. But
yeah, they survived.
So that's our midseason awards right there, the big ones that matter. We're not going to do Coach of the Year and stuff like that.
No, we're only going to do those 3.
The players. So now let's move on to the previews of the divisional round.
Okay.
So
First
Saturday, we've got Jacksonville at Kansas City. This could be a really good game. It depends on if we're going to have a Jekyll and Hyde Jacksonville or if they put together a game like they did last week, a whole game like that. It could be a toss-up in this one.
I know. I don't feel safe about it at all.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is undefeated on Saturdays.
He's still, yeah.
High school and college.
Yeah. So he's playing on Saturday again.
Yeah.
I've got the Chiefs picked.
I'm sorry, this game just went overtime. Fuck!
Oh, no.
Oh, my goddamn Jayhawks. This is just
Son of a
I was just about to
bitch.
put the Nuggets on to you,
Chad's
which
gonna
I'm
have a
going to
meltdown.
I'm going to have 2 games going on here. It's going to be
It's
madness.
12-11 in the first.
What is,
7:48 left in the first quarter. Of the
What's the
Nuggets game.
spread of the Chiefs? And
I
think it's
haven't
9.5, right?
looked at the spread, to tell you the truth.
I think it's 9.5.
You're
I
usually
have
the
that.
spread guy.
Yeah, I do. I've got that right here. Oh, CBS isn't telling me. Oh, let me go up a little bit. 8.5. It's gonna be a close game.
Yeah, no, and that's
But you know what? Patrick's also undefeated on Saturday in his pro career.
Well, there you go. So that could be the deciding factor. Whose Saturday record's getting broken?
Yeah, but a lot at stake.
I think Jacksonville. I think anybody that's smart is going to pick Kansas City. This could be a really good game.
I think so too. I
It's
mean,
the playoffs, man. Any given Sunday.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to make this one hell of a game. But the thing of it is last game, if people forget, Juju Smith-Schuster got knocked out. And MVS almost too by a few dirty hits by the Jags. I may be biased or not, but watch the highlights and make a call for yourself.
Oh, no.
And so Juju got knocked out, I think, in the second quarter or something, maybe even earlier. Before that, we were carving them up. I think we went into halftime at 21-0. So if they can continue that, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, like I said, smart picks the Chiefs. But it's going to be a good game. Second game is going to be... Is it Philly at Dallas? Shit.
I had to put up the Nuggets game.
Hold on. Yeah, Philly at New York. I'm sorry. I switched those two around
So that's
again.
the Saturday night
Yeah,
game?
that's the Saturday night game. 6:15. New York Giants at Philly. I think Philly's going to roll, but it's...
I don't know about roll. I think the Giants make this one hell of a game. What's the spread? What's the spread? I don't have it.
God damn it.
Well, it's not any big.
Hold on. Let me look it up. But yeah, this game, it really depends on how Hurts is. We looked at that last game of the year, and he didn't look that great. So
No, it spreads at 7.5 for the Eagles. If he's the same person he was throughout the season, yeah, they should roll. But here's the thing: is the Giants are playing with house money.
That is true, and that's not a team you really want to face because they've already surpassed any sort of,
test.
Yeah, they've surpassed all the tests.
Nobody expected to make it this far.
Exactly. So,
and what's the big hole for the Eagles defense? Why'd they bring in Ndamukong Suh and
the running game?
Yeah,
they
and
have
you
a
look,
terrible run defense.
Who's the Giants got? One of the
Barkley.
best running backs in the league. Got that dangling earring like Lawrence Taylor too, man. It's fucking awesome.
Less cocaine though.
Yeah, hopefully a lot. Hopefully a lot less.
But yeah, again in this one, the smart bet's Philly, but this could be a good game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I really do.
Hurts already came out today and said he's got a target on his back. Everybody's going to be aiming for his shoulder, so
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I think they might have him passing a little more, which is still dangerous. I mean, with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, this is one of the first years. This hopefully the last week I'll talk about it, but in my fantasy, nobody ever rolls out with both wide receivers for one team. There was a lot of weeks where I rolled out with Devontae and A.J. Brown, and it paid off because one of those is good. One of those guys is going to hit.
Yeah, and the other one's probably still going to have
at least
10 15 points.
Yep. So I do have the Eagles picked, but it's definitely going to be a game. What would I say, 8.5 for the Eagles? I think the Giants cover that.
Yeah, it could be a close game. We'll see how it goes. It's definitely gonna. These are all gonna be really good games.
Oh, I can't wait. To me, I think it's pretty unanimous as well. This is the best weekend in football, divisional round weekend.
Yeah, it's when you have all the best matchups, rivalries, all that stuff get played out on divisional rounds. So let's move on to Sunday. We've got
Sunday.
Kids get in free. Cincinnati Bengals at the Buffalo Bills. The rematch of the game that never happened. The Bills are favored by 4.5.
Wow, 4.5.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good for the Bills.
That's basically a 7 spot.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I know they're home, so that's going to be 3 points. But wow, I really thought it'd be 3. So the Bengals are going to use that. I think they just got all the chips on their shoulder. They're going to go in there, and I think the Bengals are going to win this game.
Yeah, and they got screwed too, so they're already looking for some validation there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I got the Bengals picked. What are you going to do?
You got the Bengals picked. I've got Buffalo picked because I've got KC and Buffalo in the AFC Championship.
Well, we haven't done a whiskey wager in 2 weeks, so shall we?
Let's
a big
do it.
game like this?
Yeah, let's do it. Cincinnati, Buffalo. All right.
I'm bringing
Straight
you the
up.
worst whiskey there is.
That's fine.
It will be real whiskey.
Okay.
But
if I win, I'm bringing you McCormick's.
That's fine, because I did that to you last time, so it's fair enough.
That one really wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's move on to so we got Cincinnati at Buffalo and then San Fran at Dallas, or Dallas at San Fran. I'm sorry, said that stupid. Dallas at San Fran. So Dallas at San Fran. I think this is the game we really wanted. We thought it was going to be Tampa Bay here.
Yeah.
We were wrong. Dallas showed up. This could be the best game of the year.
This makes for a really good game. I mean, you got 2 great defenses, 2 explosive offenses with plenty of playmakers. It's a coin toss to me, but with it being in San Fran, and we know what happens to the Cowboys sometimes when a lot of pressure's on. The pressure, I feel like, was a little bit off last week just because of, they were the underdogs, so they come to, I mean, by Vegas standards, they were favored, but everybody expected the Bucks to win. Now they're going up against a real football team. It's varsity ball now.
Yeah, and San Fran is a lot more reliable. I think if they win this game, it'll be their 11th straight, or was last week their 11th straight?
11th, yeah. This might make 12. I can't quite remember.
I think this might make 12 because I think last week going in it was 10 straight that they'd won.
Yeah.
But either way, they're on a hell of a lot more of an upswing, and Dallas is so questionable. We don't know if Dak's going to have another game like that.
Yeah,
that
it's rare that he puts together two games.
That could have been a revelation that just happened.
The 49ers, one big weak spot of theirs is the defensive secondary. And so, you look at
they got picked
Lamb,
on a little bit.
Dalton Schultz, Charvarius Ward, I've seen it firsthand when he was on the Chiefs where he's let Jamar Chase get a 200-yard game.
Yeah.
200 plus. So I don't put it past them, the Cowboys to get up in this game. And the 49ers, in order to win this game, they're going to have to run. And they've got I meant to bring it up earlier. I kept trying to, I had it on the back burner. Elijah Mitchell, he came through and he had a great game. They've got him back.
Yeah.
I mean, they are going to have to run the ball and keep Dak off the field.
That is true. They are going to have to do that because that's going to be one way to stop him for sure. But, I mean, that's any quarterback. Keep him off the field. Patrick Mahomes, you don't want to win, keep him off the field.
But we know that the Cowboys can run the ball well, but doing that up against the 49ers defense is going to be tough. But the 49ers, I think they can have a little more success running the ball against Cowboys.
Both show. Do we just play footsie there a little bit?
Footsie with
goodness.
me. I'm angling this way now.
Oh, well, that's fair.
Right.
Let us move on now. That's it.
We're moving on.
We're moving on.
That is the divisional round. I have the 49ers picked, and
I have the 49ers picked as well.
I figured so. Okay.
I just think at home, with the way things are going for them, the way Shanahan's calling plays, I just think they're the better team. I think they might be the best team in football right now. And the only question mark's Brock Purdy. He's proving those questions wrong every week. So,
did you see what Pete Carroll said about him after the game? He compared him to Frank Tarkenton, the legendary
Fran
Tarkenton, who, if you guys don't remember, I think it was
he was the first
70s?
running quarterback ever.
80s?
Yeah.
Something like that. I'm too young to remember, but it was back in the day where he was the first really good running quarterback, and there was a play where Brock Purdy, on an incomplete pass, scrambled around, dodged people like he's Josh Allen, and then throws the ball, and it ended up being incomplete, but still impressed the commentators and everybody else watching that he was able to evade defenders like that. I think he's the real deal.
He might be. We'll see what happens next year because I think they're going to have him as their starter. And Trey Lance, I don't think Trey Lance is going to be healthy for the start of the year anyways. If he does, I don't think he'll be starting. So
I agree.
I think he'll be on the men still. So we'll see what happens. That's it for the divisional round. Everybody tune in for some really damn good football this weekend. It's going to be a great time. And now, damn it, the Nuggets are letting them back.
Yeah, 22-25 right now in the first for the Nuggets.
Oh, we're up 25,
yeah,
22.
Good point.
You said that weird.
I did.
So let's move on, man. You got the UFC. What's going on in the UFC? The oofs.
So we got a big pay-per-view coming up this weekend where it's UFC 283, Glover Teixeira versus Jamal Hill for the main event. That is for the vacant light heavyweight title. Fuck. Glover had won it against, he beat Jan Blachowicz and then lost it to Yuri Prochazka. But Prochazka was injured. They had a different match. That match went to a draw. So now this is to decide the light heavyweight. And Glover is so close. He's like twice Jamal Hill's age.
Yeah, but Hill's got that fucking stopping power, punching stuff, man.
If anybody
people out
wants to see a great knockout, just Google or YouTube Jamal Hill, Johnny Walker. This dude hits him, and Johnny Walker goes to sleep. Like Doctor Strange tapped him, and it's just like, go to sleep.
Yeah,
like whoop.
Yeah, that was a good fight, and that Walker was on the way up there. He was looking like he might be. Like one of the light heavyweights that was going to take over, and that kind of ended it for him. I mean, he's not still fighting, obviously, but
right.
Yeah, he was like the next big thing in the light heavyweight, and then Hill, even after that fight, I think was basically like, yeah, you better start respecting me.
And if you look at Hill's resume, he's knocked out and finished a lot of legendary fighters, and then Glover. The thing of it is, I should have mentioned in the beginning. It's taking place in Rio de Janeiro, in Brazil. That's Glover's home country, and the top 3 fights, there's all fighters Brazilians. Were all Brazilians. So it's cool. That happens a lot, but it's kind of like home field advantage for sports and stuff. So, Fuck yes. Nice.
Did they win?
Not yet. It's 2 minutes left. They took a 2-point lead. This is fucking nuts. I almost want to like pause this, but I'm sticking with this. I'm trying to concentrate. I love my Jayhawks. Anyway, Glover has been training for the past like 2 years with Alex Pereira, who we've talked about before.
Yeah.
And iron sharpens iron. And if he wins, I think it could be because of that, because it's such a good, tool in your tool belt to have someone of that caliber training with you and sparring with you. But Jamal Hill is no joke. He comes in there all business. He's training at a Gracie Institute for jiu-jitsu, and then his striking, as you've seen before, is no joke. He can definitely...
Yeah, dude, it's probably one of the best boxers in the UFC right now.
In his division, definitely, for sure.
Yeah, there are other ones that are really good, too.
Yeah,
in light heavyweight, for sure.
I think Jamal Hill, with his age, I think he takes it. Glover's had a great run. It's a great story.
How old is he now? He's been fighting forever.
41 or 42.
Yeah.
Which is unheard of in the UFC. It's a great story, but you go up against a guy with Jamal Hill that's so fast, his striking. I mean, he's so lanky. When you got that reach,
he's got really long arms,
and he's good at jiu-jitsu too, which is dangerous. And so, Jamal Hill takes it. I'm only going to be covering the top 2 fights, just because we got a lot to talk about. But the next one, this is an epic one. The first quadrilogy in UFC history. These guys have faced 3 other times. The first time being a draw. The second time, Brandon Moreno, who's straight up probably top 3, top 5 of my favorite fighters. Mexican born, so got a lot of love there.
Yeah.
And he won going up against the Brazilian Davidson Figueiredo, and the last time, Figueiredo won in a very close decision. So every time these guys have fought, it has been an epic fight. I mean, one for the the history books. But now coming down to the fourth one, it's going to be great because Figueiredo took some time off, said he had an injury, it was kind of fishy there, and Moreno was like, I don't care if he doesn't want to fight, fine. And Dana offered up an interim title. Moreno took on Kai France, I think is the name, something like that, out of New Zealand, and beat him easily. Actually beat him with a body kick to the liver, which
those ones
you don't see very often.
Yeah, but when they do, those guys are just like, ah!
Oh, he did too. He fell down. I mean, it looked brutal.
They said that basically just shuts you off.
It does.
It's like an instantaneous, like, ah, ah.
Oh god, it would hurt so bad. And you see it. It's like his foot went inside of his body. I mean, I'm a huge Brandon Moreno fan. I mean, I got to mention too, he's a huge nerd. He's taken a bunch of photos in front of his like toy collection, which is like collectible nerd shit and Legos and stuff. I mean, you look at the guy, he does not look like he's a UFC champ, but you get the power of a warrior in somebody, and you can't tell by a picture. And so when it comes down to this fourth fight, I've got also got to mention here, Moreno took on the guidance of a famed boxing coach, Jorge Capetillo, who has coached legends like Tyson Fury, Pacquiao, and Canelo.
Dang.
Yeah, that's a resume right there. So I think, and he's already got one of the best boxing in his division, so I think that's what tips the scales here and gives the fight to Moreno.
Yeah, and then this is a little off topic, but did you see Fury's brothers fighting Jake Paul the 25th? February.
Is that really going to happen? I know they were supposed to a while back.
Yeah, something happened with his dad's like green card or something, and then they dropped out of that fight.
Yeah.
But that should be fun because I just want to see Jake Paul get knocked the fuck out so bad.
God, everybody
I keep hoping it happens, and it never does.
Never.
That's the only reason I would actually pay for a pay-per-view was to watch him get knocked out.
Yeah. I mean, he's so annoying. I'm praying for it to happen. But I haven't seen anything like that. I hope it does because I think Tommy Fury could beat him.
Yeah, definitely. Because that dude's a legit boxer.
Yeah, and he's not too bad.
Well, and Jake Paul's now training for you. He got that
contract for the PFL.
Yeah, PFL Profile
which
League.
is great. If I don't give a shit.
I
about
hope he
these
gets fucked up
matches.
there too.
Oh, definitely, man. He's a loudmouth.
He's only been training for like 6 months, 7 months, and he's gonna go start fighting mixed martial arts.
That's why I can't stand these boxing matches because they can be scripted easily, and so many people, even notable people in the fight community, are like, "Oh yeah, he definitely knocked out Tyron Woodley. You saw Anderson Silva fall." Any one of those guys, their career's over.
Yeah, and they're getting a lot more money than they ever made in the UFC.
If Jake Paul says, if you take a fall, you get this much, I know they're gonna say yes.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. But yeah, that's to wrap up the two co-main events. There's a lot of great fights on this card. Totally worth watching however you choose to watch it.
Yes.
But the next one,
through
just
whatever means necessary.
yeah, exactly. Not going to break it down or anything, but definitely make sure you catch it. Another Brazilian fighter, Gilbert Burns versus Neil Magny. That's going to be a banger. Neil Magny is a brawler, and then Gilbert Burns has a resume where he's finished tons of fighters. I'm really looking forward to that fight. So
Yeah.
pay attention to it. UFC 283.
Well, let's move on to the Rec Center. Chad, what do you have this week?
I have a really good show that
What is
I
it?
was behind the times on, man. It's called Bloodline. Have you ever heard of this show?
No.
Came out in 2015, and it really flew under the radar. I don't know what platform it came out on, but it's on Netflix.
Okay.
And we were just looking for shows, and we checked it out. And so it's basically about this like family drama thriller where this group of siblings are heirs to an inn, like a small hotel on the beach down in the Keys. And then, you know, everything seems great. All the community loves
Until
it.
it isn't.
Until it isn't. In a world
In a world.
where everybody dies. Well, there's
where nepotism reigns supreme.
and there's a dark past. We're gonna give a good preview, and we have. So it's got the dude from Friday Night Lights. I tried to look up his name.
The
earlier.
coach.
Yeah, he's the coach. He's been in a ton of stuff.
We'll just call him Coach.
Yeah, and
Coach is
then
in it.
Ben Middleton plays the main
Not
character.
Coach. Not Craig T. Nelson Coach.
No, definitely not that. That
That's
is
a
a
good
great
coach.
show. I love. I used to watch that show when I
What
was
was
a
that
kid.
guy's name? Boomer or something like that?
Craig T. Nelson.
No, his goofy.
Oh
friend.
man, that dude's. You know, he was the voice of Patrick Star.
Yeah, he
was
he
perfect for
He
it.
got to make that call when Russell Wilson threw that interception.
That's right.
On the Nickelodeon fucking.
And he did deserve that.
Yeah.
I heard about how Patrick Star called him out on that, man.
He's like, "That's not what you want to cook."
I need to watch the Nickelodeon cast eventually,
It's
man.
stupid,
Eh.
but it's. I guess they're trying to bring in the kids.
Dude, it's worth watching, though, because it's like a drama thriller where the way they edit the show, I'm watching it and I'm just thinking, like, what the hell's going to happen? Like, I'm on the edge of my seat every time. You know, there's murder involved, crime. If you like shows like that,
Suspense.
you'll love it. Yeah, it's got the chick from Dead to Me. She's also in it. Sissy Spacek, too.
Oh, nice.
Legendary Carrie.
Yeah.
So it's got a good
Let's not
cast.
talk about her brother though.
What are you talking about?
Kevin Spacey.
Oh, that's her brother?
Or no, it's Spacek, right?
Yeah, Sissy Spacek. I think
Oh
is in it.
shit.
Yeah, close.
Yeah. I
But-
fucked that up.
Hey, it's a good show. Check it out.
Yeah.
Netflix Bloodline.
Definitely, I'll give it a look at. and
What's
check it out.
yours, Chris? Take me to the rec center.
I'm gonna recommend another podcast. I've told Chad about this podcast a bunch. It is the Honeydew with Ryan Sickler.
Nice.
It's a really cool podcast where they basically highlight the lowlights of a bunch of comedians, actors, a whole bunch of famous people, just basically kind of talking about like what fucked up shit that's happened to them in their lives that's kind of shaped them to be who they are, and they just basically try and find like the humor in the fucked up shit. And it's one of those shows that I guess, just kind of highlights, mental health and the fact that we're all pretty fucked up people.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they talk a lot of people like, are in therapy and stuff, and they talk about that. And it does kind of open up that world to you if you weren't necessarily thinking about that beforehand. And also, like, a lot of times I'm listening to people, I'm like, oh, these people are in therapy, and I feel like I have a lot of the same problems.
It's nuts. There's a lot of issues and a lot of drama that
it's
gets
like,
brought up.
Shit. I might have ADHD. I don't know anymore, man.
I need to talk to somebody.
But yeah,
Sickler, man, he really digs down and wants these guys to talk about the troubles in their life, not
Yeah.
just about what are you promoting, what's going on with you.
Well, he
in your
does
life.
do that, and he's great
Of
about
course.
that. They end
Yeah.
each show and begin each show with everybody just promoting their shit. But then, yeah, it is just he's an incredibly good interviewer. His laugh is at first it is a little bit like this is intense, but then it starts to grow on you.
It does. Yeah.
He's
It's
got,
a
like,
very unique laugh.
the most intense laugh. But he's a really good interviewer, and he has a really good way. We were talking about this the other day of just like making these people like feel extremely comfortable to the point that they're like, I mean, they're talking about crazy shit, like traumas and stuff that's happened in their past, and he's really good at like I said, making it funny, but like just making people open up. So it's a really good show. I think it's been on for 3 years now.
Yeah, something like that.
And there's a shitload of episodes. He also had another podcast, the Crab Feast with Jay Larson. That one's only audio, but there's like they did that for like 7 years, and it's kind of the same, but it's more like comedians telling stories.
I think that's only on Patreon now too, isn't it?
He got the rights back, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
He also has another one where he just has random people, and that's the Patreon. You pay like $5 a month, and you get.
I've heard that one's really good because it's a lot of good stories from random people.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff. They had a guy in there that's one of those people that shows up and cleans up crime scenes, and he's been on they did two highlight shows where they like talked about all the crazy shit. They did like 4 or 5 people from the Honeydew with Y'all. That's what it's called because it's just with y'all, everybody not famous. And dude, there's some crazy shit that people dying and coming back to life and just like
some
insane
weird shit, man. He's such a good interviewer.
Yeah. So it's a super good podcast. I love it. He's friends with, Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer and all those guys.
Tom Segura is the guy that really brought him along. I mean, he records...
That's where it started, was at your mom's house,
Yeah,
and then he kind of branched off on his own. So
it was at that studio.
But yeah, super good podcast. I dig it.
You recommended it to me, and I checked it out, and I listened to I just went through and tried to find a good one. And this fancy lady right there, Tammy, was on there.
She has a fucking crazy life.
She had a crazy life, and he really gets down to that, just living in the scrums of Oklahoma and, small town life.
And a crazy dad and shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's super interesting. You just hear so much shit about, like, a lot of people that, comedians and stuff. It's just like with Robin Williams when he killed himself. Everybody's like, oh, my God, how did he kill himself? He was so funny. Like, you realize, like, most of these comedians are fucked up.
I mean, you got to be a little fucked up to go up there and put yourself out there like that. And so it's great that he kind of opens these doors for these guys to kind of be able to explain and give their side of the story.
Yeah, but we can move on. Chad, what's going on in the game over there? You're very intent.
I'm sorry, man.
It's okay.
If I seem
it's okay.
negligent, I'm sorry. It's 13 seconds left. KU's down by 1 in overtime.
Oh, no.
K-State called a timeout. Dude, K-State's 15-2. They ain't no joke.
Yeah.
They're ranked
What's
13th.
Kansas right now?
Second, 16-1.
Oh, okay. Who's in first?
Purdue.
Damn, Purdue. Those fucking Boilermakers.
I think it's Purdue.
Yeah. I don't know what they're boiling or what they're making, but I don't like either.
I know. I've always thought, what a weird mascot. The Boilermakers.
I'm sure there's, a very good story behind that.
Probably from the 1800s.
We're gonna remain ignorant on that fact.
That's fine with me.
Unless you want to text in or email us, which let's remind you guys,
please do.
Fringe Fanatic Sports Podcast. If you want to email us, if you have questions, you have anything you want us to talk about, go into whatever, please just reach out to us. DM us personally. However you want to do it. Text messages if you got our numbers. If you don't have our numbers, email us and we might give them to you. Who knows?
Speaking of that, today actually I got a list of my cousin is a salesman for a liquor retailer, and he sent us a list of whiskeys to try out. So
nice.
Yeah, we might have to try to find some of them.
We'll make that a thing. We'll just start going down the list.
Might as well. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, thank you, sir.
Much
we appreciated it.
Yep.
Let's move on to the DDOE. So right now you're going to be hearing the musical stylings of the one and only John to the motherfucking Daily.
The legend himself.
We bouts to hit it hard, man.
I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, living large. I hit it hard.
And we are back with your daily dose of excellence. Chad, who gets it this week? Who's the nominee?
Somebody that is very deserving of it, Chris, and that is the Chiefs starting
Homer alert.
running back. It's fine.
I'm
Bring
sorry,
it
I had to do it. Okay,
Yeah.
Moving on. So Chiefs running back, rookie, right?
Rookie 7th round pick, ISIAH Pacheco, and he deserves it because over the last week, I know it was covered while he was at Rutgers, but I guess because the success of what he's having on the Chiefs, it's been brought up in the news a lot more.
Had a resurgence.
Of his tragic high school, I'd say. Just not, I don't want to say troubled past because a lot of times people think that's something maybe he did.
Yeah, it wasn't really anything he did.
So just to give a little background, he comes from Jersey and went to home state Rutgers. And while he was playing in high school, he was already kind of standing out that he's really good. Well, there was a tragedy in his family where he lost his brother due to a murder.
Yeah, he got stabbed when he was like 16.
He got stabbed, and then I want to say it was like within a week or a month or something, very short amount of time, his brother-in-law killed his older sister.
Yeah.
It's
Left her
just
3 kids fucking parentless.
A lot of turmoil to kind of come through. And then on top of that, he just decided, like, I'm just going to play this week. And, you know, so I found all this out by watching this video and went viral over the last week. And his coach, his high school coach, told him, like, dude, you don't have to play. And he's like, no, I want to. I want to for my sister.
Yeah.
And he goes out there and balls out and just, you know, is kind of like what we've seen on the Chiefs, where he runs hard. And he's, you know, said he wanted to do that for his sister. And to me, it really hit home just because of how much he wanted to play for his family. And then he goes to Rutgers, and his high school coach said he had offers from all over the country, but he wanted to stay close to home, so he did. And then one of his first games, he scored his first touchdown, and then I guess he gave like 2 kisses to his mom up in the stands.
Yeah.
And it's a great video where his mom's just like sitting there and being like, I know he was blowing those to me, because there was 2 kisses, one for his brother and one's for his sister.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it deserves, you know, some excellence, notoriety, because when someone goes out there and uses this game that's just considered to casual fans out there, or for people that don't like sports, whatever you may feel like, it's just got a ball in it. They're using that as inspiration out there.
Yeah.
To
Some of these guys have to turn their life around. I mean, this isn't the case for him. I mean, there's some guys that, like, they have no choice but to get out of their neighborhood, but to play football and hope to God they can go to college somewhere.
Well, it seems like that was definitely the case kind of with his brother, where, you know, he definitely didn't come up through the best neighborhood by any means. And he was able to use that to turn his life around. And, well, you know, he was never really in trouble, but just to try to, like, get out of that. And
just to turn that negative shit into positive inspiration, motivation.
And you know, he's even said in the video where that's why he runs so hard, is to, you know, use all that sorrow that he faced with his sister and his brother to overcome all that. And you see it every single time. Yeah. I mean, I don't, you know, when I text you this, you know, we talk about the nominations for this kind of segment each week, and I was like, I don't care if this is a homer or not. I saw this, and if he was on the fucking Bills or Jaguars, I'd want to cover it, because anytime somebody uses tragedy in their life like that, and then to transfer it to sports and to overcome that and turn it into something where everybody else can get behind and be like, dude, you're something, you're an inspiration. You know, whatever you do, if you go out there and you're a dishwasher, or you're a cook, or you're a FedEx driver, you just want to be the best at what you do. You see that every time where ISIAH Pacheco runs the ball, and he might get laid out, but he bounces right back up because he's just grateful for that opportunity that he got. That, to me, is just deserving of the daily dose of excellence.
Well, yeah, and another thing we got to talk about, too, the fact that he fell to the 7th round was pretty surprising. I mean, Cecil Lammey on the fan here in Denver was pounding the table for the Broncos to take him in, like, the 4th round.
Are you serious? Yeah. Before the Chiefs took him, you know about him? Mm-hmm. I never even knew about him before the Chiefs took him.
Yeah, he was pounding the table for him.
Wow.
Pounding the table.
Well,
so
it's got to be mentioned.
They've got to take him. They've got to take him right here, and they didn't. And then he fell to the 7th round.
He had the fastest 40.
Yeah.
Out of all running backs, he had the fastest 40.
If anybody, Oakland should have drafted him, because they love guys that run fast.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been great.
But, I just thought it was crazy, because that's why I knew about him. That's why I was drafting him.
I didn't know.
In the beginning.
I wasn't aware of that.
Cecil Lammey was like, oh, this guy's a downhill runner. He's fast. He's explosive, all this shit. And, he was blown away that he lasted till the 7th round. And here we are. He's now the starting running back for the Chiefs.
Yeah, and in preseason, we saw it. We saw glimpses of it where he was just running really – you can tell by
it took him a while.
back.
I thought they were going to start him way earlier, but they were letting Clyde Edwards try it out for half the year.
Which is kind of interesting. He was activated by my IR today, and he started practicing. So I'm very interested to see how they're going to use him.
I don't know why you would. With Jerick McKinnon and Pacheco, you have your 1-2.
You know, but the thing of it is, I don't know, though. If it's 4th
it's just
and 1
crazy.
and you're
Edwards
on the goal
was
line,
literally a first-round draft pick.
First round out of LSU.
32.
Played with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, man. Yeah. It's tough, but I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with Clyde. We're getting off the subject. But
we are.
Either way, ISIAH deserves it, because if anybody's ever faced any type of adversity in their life and they use anything, you know, whether it be sports or something, then I commend you.
Yeah, it's always good to take shit like that, and it's hard to turn it into, you know, positive stuff. It's easy to be just like, oh, dude, this sucks. But it's great to see people overcome that shit. So
Yeah.
let's get on out of here, dude. That's the end of it. This is episode 20, wrapping it on up.
Episode 20. We're racking them up.
If you guys
man.
made it this far, please like, share, subscribe, and follow, and rate us on anything that you're watching us on, please. And interact with us. We keep saying that every week.
But we're
One
waiting.
day it will happen.
And share the episode if you don't mind. Just give it one click.
Yeah, share it. That really helps a lot. Liking, commenting help, but sharing it really helps. But yeah, please like and share anything we do. We'll be coming next week. Hopefully, we've got the upgrades coming to the studio. With the snowstorm kind of put a halter on that today. So I'm hoping next week we will have some multi-angled cameras and things will be a little bit fancier looking.
Getting
So,
all angles.
yeah, every angle.
Chisel chin.
Even angles you don't want.
Probably all of those angles.
Below the table angles.
Whoa.
But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate you. Chadley, I love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy. You gonna do the shot with me?
Oh, yeah. Here's to the DDOE. Here's to you guys. And,
Thanks for listening.
See you next week. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.